So the Chiefs finally did it. They just traded for Deandre Hopkins. Actually, the trade is being finalized as we speak. And a much needed move, especially with, of course, Rashid going to miss the remainder of the year, and Juju also suffering an injury this past week, and Hollywood Brown at the start of the year. Just a banged up wide receiver corp, and much needed help here. Yes, DeAndre is not in his prime anymore. If we would have gotten prime DeAndre Hopkins with Pat Mahomes, that would be pretty extraordinary to watch. But I truly don't know how much Hopkins has left in the tank, but I'm sure we'll find out very shortly. If you can't be a productive wide receiver with one of the greatest quarterbacks that we've ever seen, then I don't really know what to tell you. It's probably time to hang it up, collect your last few checks, and call it a career. So I'm definitely excited to see what Hopkins can do. I mean, when he was in his prime with Deshaun Watson, even what he did in Arizona with Kyler, pretty electric stuff, man. He was definitely in the conversation for being the league's best wide receiver at one point in time. Just spectacular catch radius, just an amazing hands, and had a great ability to get open as well. But like I said, he has slowed down the last couple years, so we'll definitely have to see what happens. Last year, he caught 75 passes for 1,057 yards and 7 touchdowns. This year, he's only had 15 catches, 173 yards, and 1 touchdown. But, you know, the Titans quarterback situation hasn't really been the best this year, as we've all seen with everyone's favorite meme, Will Levis. So it'll be a pretty sharp contrast from catching balls from him to Pat Mahomes. Definitely excited to see what happens here, man. Let me know if you guys think this is a good move, or is it just a waste of time. Cooper Kupp is actually available on the trading block. I'm actually going to make a video on that later on. I thought the Chiefs would maybe try to trade for him, even though the Chiefs' salary cap is pretty tight right now, and Cooper has 25 mil a year for this year and the year after, I believe. So I don't know how they would get that done, and obviously they didn't want to deal with that headache, so they opted for the cheaper option. But man, just like hypothetically, Cooper Kupp and Pat Mahomes, like a healthy Cooper Kupp, that would have been pretty crazy, man. That would have been pretty crazy. Just give them the 3rd Super Bowl in a row. That would have been nuts. But let me know what y'all think about this trade. And do you think Hopkins will be productive? Do you think he'll look like his old self? Let me know in the comments. Apparently, it's supposed to be Hopkins for a conditional 4th round draft pick. I'm assuming if he plays and puts up decent numbers, that conditional 4th will probably end up being a 3rd. We'll have to see. Not a bad price at all. I feel like that's pretty fair. And I feel like this is a good addition to the Chiefs offense, mainly because Xavier Worthy is the over-the-top wide receiver to really open up all the space, because Hopkins has never been a guy to kill you with his speed. He's the type of guy that kills you with his hands and the ability to find all the soft spots and zone coverage. And yes, he can create separation man to man, no doubt. We've all seen that classic Hard Knocks clip, but he's never been that guy to take the top off the defense or to burn you. So if Xavier Worthy can keep it going, keep progressing, keep growing, I feel like we're going to see some big plays from Hopkins in the playoffs. And that's the thing I'm most excited to see, man, is Hopkins in a big-time playoff game. I believe the last time we saw him in the playoffs was actually against the Chiefs back in like 2020, 2019, I believe, when he was still on Houston. They actually should have won that game, but Houston choked that game pretty hard. Let me know if you guys remember that game. That was a pretty wild game in the early Chiefs days. But yeah, I'm excited to see what he's got in store. So for this upcoming week, I'm expecting him to make his debut against the Las Vegas Raiders. A very good spot for him to kind of show what he's got. I know it's obviously on short notice. He's probably there in KC right now, probably just arrived. So don't expect like a big workload if you're in a fantasy, if you're in that desperate deep league sort of situation. I mean, come on, we all saw what happened to Devontae Adams on Sunday night. Yes, Mahomes is way better than Aaron Rodgers right now, but Devontae Adams didn't really have a productive game. Even though he was familiar with the offense, knew all the terminology supposedly. So, Hopkins going to a new team, going to a new quarterback, new scheme. Might take him some time, but still a good opponent. We also saw what Amari Cooper did in his debut with the Bills. Kind of funny. Didn't know what route he was supposed to run when he caught that touchdown. But doesn't matter when you play a team like the Titans. You know, good things tend to happen. Now, I want to talk about the Titans for a second. They only have one win going into this year. I really thought they would be a better team just because of that defense. And that defense still is decent in my opinion. It's just when your offense is that horrendous and embarrassing, it's hard to really play hard defensive ball for a full 60 minutes because it's just demoralizing when you're making big plays, you're stopping the team's and then you're on the bench and you see Will Levis out there making these boneheaded plays. It's just a depressing time, brings down the morale. So I really thought they'd be better. I was dead wrong. I didn't know quarterback situation would be this bad. Tony Pollard has actually had some flashes, but besides that, offensively, pretty rough stuff. And yeah, they will definitely add a quarterback in this upcoming 2025 draft. Looking to have a pretty high draft pick. Let me know who you think is going to go to Tennessee. Almost like a similar situation to the Cleveland Browns. I really think they're going to have the pick of the litter when it comes to selecting a quarterback in the 2025 class. So it's not all doom and gloom for Titans fans. If you're going to have a good draft pick with a quarterback void in your team, it's the year to definitely tank and to not have a good record. So we'll have to see what happens there. So yeah, man, let me know what y'all think about this trade. Is it good? Is it worthless? Do you think he's washed? A lot of people online, on Twitter, on all the articles and stuff, IG, are making claims that Deandre Hopkins is washed. I feel like that's just because everyone doesn't really like the Chiefs and they probably don't want to see them three-peat. And granted, he hasn't put up the best numbers this year, but still, man, it's kind of hard to when, you got Will Levis as your quarterback. We all saw what Hopkins did a year ago. Pretty good numbers. So, I don't think he's washed, but if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. And do you think this will help the Chiefs' chances at three-peating? I think it definitely does. I just hope Hopkins can stay healthy. And excited to see him in the playoffs, man. Really excited. So let me know what y'all think. If you made this far, please subscribe. It'd help out your boy a lot. And that's all I got for right now. Peace.
The Broncos taking the field on offense, coming off a touchdown on their last drive, Phil.
Yeah, they did it mostly through the air, Tim, and I love the way how they did that. It was aggressive throwing by the quarterback, and my gosh, is he on target today.
He's averaging 5 yards per carry on the day.
Nice run that time. When you run the football like this, over a period of time, it's going to wear that defense out. There's no doubt about it. Nice job by the offensive line.
The Broncos take it from the 28.
That's just not a good call on the offensive side. You know, when it's second and short, they think, well, let's just pick up the first down. And the defense was ready. You got to have better play calling than that.
Midway into the third. And it's batted down.
Well, Jim, that's a nice job by the defender knocking that football down on third down. That's what you want to do as a defense. Of course, you want to get off the field. Every time an offense completes a third down pass, their chances of getting a score on that drive go up big time. So getting off the field was great. Nice job by the defender.
Marshall's taking the field again, and he's gunning for another stop here for this defense in a game that's been full of them up to this point.
He has so much talent physically. We see that every single week when we're watching play. But the thing that just catches my attention, how he leads the rest of the guys out there on the field. Gore's trying to be patient, but there is nowhere to run that time, and he only gets a short gain.
Frank Gore is in the backfield. Second down and 8. Handoff made.